Good morning, all of you. Welcome back to the online sessions on the embedded systems. So we were discussing on interfacing topic now. So in interfacing topic, the important topic is one of the important interfacing topic we have in syllabus is going to be keyboard interfacing. And here we'll take an example of a keyboard interfacing and we'll try to do one problem on this. Okay. So in the previous sessions, we've discussed about how the interfacing will be done using the microcontroller. Now with the same methods, with same basic fundamentals, we go ahead now. So we are taking a 4 by 4 matrix keyboard. So this matrix 4 by 4 matrix keyboard will be interfaced with the microcontroller. Now this is port 1, port 2 of the microcontroller. So this port 1 and port of the microcontroller interfaced with the keyboard, something like this. So port 1 is normally taken as output port, port 2 is normally taken as input port, and output port 1 terminals will be connected to the rows of the matrix. Now this is the matrix. See, all these elements 1, 2, 3, 4, all these elements are going to be considered to be the elements of the matrix. That means these are all the keys. Whenever a key is pressed here, that key has to be stored in the microcontroller. Okay. So for example, if I press 2, so this 2 has to be stored in the microcontroller. If I press 0, 0 has to be stored in the microcontroller. Okay. If I press E, E has to be stored in the microcontroller. And there are two logics here in this method: anode and cathode, common anode method. So whatever may be the method, we are not bothering about the method of connecting the various switches to the microcontroller, sir, device. So for a simplicity, we have taken only four rows, uh, 4 rows and 4 columns. Thereby, we normally going to get 16 keys. 4 by 4, 4 into 4 is going to be 16. So we can form 16 keys keyboard, which is a most primitive matrix keyboard, which we normally going to consider here. Okay. So this is the keyboard configuration we have. Now, how do we normally going to program this keyboard interfacing? See, first of all, we'll make sure that the column lines are all going to be high initially to start with. And initially to start with, all the rows are going to be zeros. So if all the columns are 1 means what here? If switch is open, this VCC is simply connected to this D3. Similarly to D2, D1, D0. That means directly this D1, D0 to D3 pins are connected to VCC. That means what? D0 to D3 are normally going to have the value 1. That means these values are going to be high, which is nothing but equal to 1. Right. And initially all this D0 to D3 will be equal to zeros because they are connected to ground. Okay. Now we have to identify, first of all, whenever a particular key is pressed, what happens? This particular D3 is simply connected to the ground in a closed loop path. And therefore, what happens is that this current, whatever current coming from VCC will be simply going to the ground like this via this particular horizontal line. Therefore, this particular bit is going to become 0. That means the entire row becomes equal to 0 whenever a particular key on that row is normally being pressed. Okay. So therefore, we should first of all uh, scan. We'll first of all scan each and every column. After we scan each and every column, then we normally going to scan with respect to the number of rows. So initially we make each and every row to 0. Then we normally going to scan each and every key on the keypad. And whenever we find that there is going to be a 0 on this line, we say that that particular key has been pressed. Let us see how we normally going to do that. Now there are some 4 steps. Importantly, we normally going to follow 4 important steps to perform this particular task. What are those 4 important steps? Let us see. So the first step, just as I was talking to you, we have to make sure that the preceding key has been released. Zeros are output to all the rows. That means zeros are output to all the rows because all the rows are connected to the ground, and the columns are read and checked repeatedly until all the columns are high. We should ensure that all the zeros, all the rows are going to connected to zeros, and all the columns are normally connected to high value. So we have to check this repeatedly until all the column values are high. When all the columns are found to be high, then the program waits for a short amount of time before it goes to the next stage of waiting for a key to be pressed. This is the first step, step one. So we have to perform this particular step one using the program. So how do we perform this step one using program? Let us see step one using the programming. See here, port 1 to port 0, port 1 bits 0 to 3 are connected to rows, port 2 port 2 0 to port 2 3 are connected to columns. Now step one, what we are doing now, first of all we put all ones in port 2. That means we have to make port 2 as an input port. We should ensure port 2 values are all going to be ones. How do we ensure? By using the AND operation we have to ensure. And port 1 we make all zeros. So ground all the rows at once. That means we are simply storing, we are simply moving 0 into port 1. And next, what is that we are doing now? We are moving this contents of port 2 to accumulator. Then we are using the AND operation. Use logical AND operation with respect to, now we have only 4 keys. We have only 4 rows. We have only 4 columns. So what is that which is there in A? It is the columns. So 4 columns I have, therefore I put only 4 ones. Rest of them I simply make them equal to 0. That means I am simply masking these unused bits, because I am using only these first 4 least significant 4 bits only I am going to use. MSB 4 bits I am not using. Therefore, these MSB 4 bits are simply masked. So after that, now I am simply doing the operation called AND operation. That means because of this loading of all ones into P2, what happens? It checks with this condition now. It checks with this condition all ones here. So whenever these all ones are not really satisfying, that means, no, what is the condition I'm going to check here? Compare the two operands, jump if not equal. So if both are not equal, then jump to K1. That means what? We are simply waiting in this particular loop until all the rows, until all the columns becomes equal to zeros. So for example, when these two are same, that means when these two are same, what will happen? The resultant value for this AND operation becomes equal to 0. When this is 0, it is going to be equal. That means because of this operation, AND operation means what? You should get the result as going to be same thing. 0, 0, 0, 4 zeros, 4 ones you should get. And you are comparing these 4 zeros, 4 ones. If they are same, they are equal, then the control comes out of this particular loop, jump loop. Then we are simply waiting for a delay. Absolute call delay has been called. Now what this delay is doing now? Simply this delay is a program to wait the program in a loop. Now there is a delay loop. I have not shown the delay loop, so I'll show the delay loop later on. Let us imagine that this delay is normally going to wait for 20 milliseconds. So call 20 millisecond delay. Then now we'll discuss why we have to wait. This is nothing but the step one. So after step one, we simply go on to the step two. So in step two, what we are going to do to see if the key is pressed. So first of all, I have ensured that the value on the column lines are all ones, and the values on the row lines are all zeros. I have ensured that first. So if to see if any key is pressed, the columns are scanned over and over an infinite loop until one of them has a 0 in it. So what after that, after we initialize the keyboard, ensuring means what? Initializing. After we initialize the keyboard, we should see if any key is pressed. So the columns are scanned over and over again in an infinite loop until one of one of the column keys has 0 on it. That means here we have to wait for key pressed on the column. Remember that the output latches connected to rows still have their initial zeros. Now all the output latches connected to rows still have initial value 0 only. We are looking for column digit to become 0. But all rows are still connected to ground only. So after the key press detection takes place, the microcontroller waits for another 20 milliseconds time period for bounce, for rebounds, and then scans the columns again. Now here we have to, first of all, once a key is pressed, we will be waiting for 20 milliseconds. Once again, we repeat the same task of detecting the vertical column key press, vertical column key, whether it is pressed or not. Just to, this is normally performed 2 times of scanning of the column is performed for to uh, perform 2 functionalities, to enable 2 functionalities. One is that it ensures that the first key press detection was not an erroneous one due to this noise spike. If the first key is, because let us suppose happen to be of noise spike, then what happens? That simply, that key press is simply suspended. That is what one cross check will do. Another one is that 20 millisecond delay prevents the same key pressed from being interrupted as a multiple key press. So it is normally going to avoid multiple key pressing event also. So it avoids these two conditions. Therefore, we have to wait for that. So if after 20 millisecond delay, the key is still pressed, if after 20 millisecond delay key is still pressed, it goes to the next stage. That means it ensures that, okay, that particular key on the column has been pressed. Then the control goes to the next stage to detect which row it belongs to. That means we have 4 rows. Among these 4 rows, which row key has been pressed? See, in these 4 rows, which row, which column key has been pressed in the rows? We have to select, we have to test it with respect to the rows. So that rows condition testing is done at the stage 2. So that means it goes to the next stage to detect which row it belongs to. Otherwise, it goes back to the loop to detect the real key press. Okay, that means the same process of step 2 should really repeat once again if this is not true. That means what are all that we are doing here in this step 2? In step 2, we are waiting in infinite loop until the column is pressed. Any one key on the column is pressed. So once it is pressed, we'll wait for 20 milliseconds. Once again, we scan the column to prevent these two problems. Then we start going to the row by row scanning. So this is what we'll do in the step 2. So in step 2, let us see what we're doing. So after we initialize the keyboard, then imagine that there is some key pressed on the column key that is connected to port 2. So the contents of this port 2, which is known as input port. Okay. So these contents are simply placed onto the accumulator. Then next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to test for this with the AND operation and the contents of accumulator with these bits. Now I should check the condition once again, compare the two contents, jump if not equal to 0. Jump if not equal to 0. If it is 0, what will happen? If it is 0, means what? These two are same, means key is not pressed. If it is equal to 0, the control don't go to the jump instruction. The control comes to next instruction, then it is going to be a short jump, yes, jump K2. K2 means what? Here is K2. Wait for 20 milliseconds and once again we'll test for the press key. And this will be in this loop until a key is pressed. Say for example, a key is pressed. Now this condition goes wrong because the accumulator contents are not equal to this whatever that I am having here. So as this condition is false, control goes to over. Here in this over, once again I'll wait for the delay of 20 milliseconds. I once again going to scan the port 2. Then I check for the condition. If condition is false, still a particular key is still pressed, understood that, then control goes to over 1. In over 1, now up until this time, this is nothing but a step 2. So in step 2, we ensure that a particular key on the column has been pressed. After we ensure, we should go for the number of rows. That is going to be the step 3. So in step 3, what we're doing, let us see. In step 3, to detect which row the key press belongs to. Now, once you press any one key randomly, say for example 9 I have pressed. So I have to test each and every row, in which row that column where the key is pressed, that I have to detect, so that these 9 can be moved onto the microcontroller. So that's what I have to test here in the third step. So to detect which row the key press belongs to, the microcontroller grounds one row at a time. The microcontroller grounds one row at a time, reading the column each time. So if it finds that all columns are high, this means that the key press cannot belong to that row. If it finds that all columns are high, while reading, if all columns are high, it finds that the key press cannot belong to that particular row. Therefore, if grounds the next row, and continues until it finds the row the key press belongs to. So upon finding the row that the key press belongs to, it sets up the starting address for the lookup table, holding the scan codes for that particular row, and goes to the next stage to identify the key. So here we are going to use a lookup table method. So in lookup table method, what we're doing now, let us see the lookup table method. Step 3 we'll do now. In step 3, we are using a lookup table. See this keyboard code 0123. So this is normally stored in dB bytes. Data in bytes are stored 0123, row 0. In row 1, I am going to have 4, 5, 6, 7. In row 2, I am going to have like this, all the keys. So if you see row 1, for example, 0123. See the row 1 now. Row 1 is having 0123. Row 2 is having 4, 5, 6, 7. Row 3 is having 8, 9, AB. Row 3 is having C, D, E, F. So similarly, I'm going to have all those particular rows over here. C, D, E, F, right? Now we'll start going with the step 3. Now in step 3, what I'm doing now, first of all, I have to make ground row 0. So first row has to be made equal to 0. Therefore, this P1 is output port. So this first row has been made equal to 0 by storing these bits. Then contents of P2 are stored in A. Now A has got the P2, that is column rows. Okay, and these column rows are now compared with this particular thing. So definitely this is not going to be equal to same. When you compare these two, contents of accumulator are not equal to the initialized value. So therefore the control goes to row 0. So where is row 0? Here is row 0. The control comes to row 0. In row 0, what I am doing, I am simply storing the starting address of this code 0E into the DPTR register. So after we store this, then we are simply saying short jump to find. Where is find? Here is find. In this find is nothing but step 4 that we are going to discuss. That means here, first of all, once we have identified that at a particular row, this condition is taking place of key press, then the control goes to that row, and in that row it has to simply find out which key that is there actually, which is pressed over there. That I have to compulsory check over here. Okay, then we'll go to the step 4 now. In step 4, what we'll do, let us see. Last step. So to identify the key press, microcontroller rotates the column bits one bit at a time towards right into the carry flag and checks to see if it is low. That means it is going to rotate with respect to carry and checks the carry flag. So upon finding 0 on the carry flag, it pulls out ASCII code for that particular key from the lookup table. Otherwise, it keep on increments pointer to point to the next element in the lookup table. Okay. So that means here how a lookup table has been used is simply explained here to find out the particular key that is being pressed over there. So that key pressed over there is understood by the lookup table here. So here we have come up to here in step 3. Under all favorable conditions, the control simply the starting address of this is stored in this DPTR register. Control comes to find over here. Find is here. Rotate accumulator left. Now what is there in accumulator? Before the control comes to row 0, what is the contents of the accumulator? It is P2. P2 means what? Column matrix. Column matrix. Then I rotate this row, rotate this contents of accumulator right with carry. Then we normally check the carry bits. Jump if no carry. Jump if no carry to match. Jump if no carry to match. That means control goes to jump if no carry. Carry means what? 1. No carry means what? 0. If 0 is detected, say first time we are discussing about pressing 9. So pressing 9 means what? Where is 9? Here is 9. So let us imagine that it has crossed these two, row 0, row 1, row 2 we are here. In row 2, starting address has been taken here in this. Then it is going to check with this starting bit, but 9 is pressed. Here it should get 0. Let us see here now. So row 0 has missed. Here in this case, row 0 has missed. Control comes over here, checks for row 1. Control comes here, checks for row 2. And row 2, it detects that there is going to be the condition true. Then the same equation is being executed here. Comes to the find and rotate accumulator right. A. Now, what is this A contains? A contains 1. So as A contains 1, this condition is false. This condition is false. Once this condition is false, jump if no carry, come here, clear the contents of A, move the next address of DPTR into A, and move A to P0, and long jump to K1. Where is K1? K1 is here. K1 is here. Once again, go back to the initialization step and come from here totally. Okay, so that means let us go with all favorable conditions. So when let us say that a key has been pressed and jump if no carry, carry is 0 here, bit is 0, then control comes over here, increment DPTR. Initially is here now, increment DPTR, DPTR is incremented, then jump if short jump to find, then control goes to the find, and once again the accumulator contents are simply been repeated. Okay, so like this a particular key is normally being traced here, and we normally going to store that particular thing in the accumulator. So accumulator really contains in the storing that accumulator contains into P0. So P0 register, P0 is taken as output port. The contents of here are stored into P0, and P0 will be taken into the microcontroller. From P0 it will taken into the microcontroller. So like this, the program is simply been executed for number of rows in the steps. So now this can be explained by using the flow chart also. First of all, we start the reset the microcontroller. Then we first of all ground all the rows. Then the program does not do anything until we read all the columns. So we'll read all the columns. We expect all keys to be open, means what? It is going to have one value. If it is open, control comes here, read all columns. So in this process, any key down, if no key is down, then simply it will be in the same loop. If any key is down, if any key is down, that means if you press any key, wait for debounce, then once again read all columns. Any key down still existed, once again it scans, ensures that key is pressed, then the control comes to S. S means what here? Then ground next row, that means first row it grounds, reads all columns. Key press in this row is ensured. If it is S, control comes down, find which key is pressed, get scan code from the table, get the value, and return back from that particular loop, entire loop. So this is how the program is normally executed. Okay. So as it is a diamond shape, it is a decision making box. The control is going to yes and no. Based on that, we normally going to repeat this process. So like this, we normally implement the keyboard interfacing program. So which is a very important program for us. So with this code, keyboard interfacing code, we have completed on how to interface a keyboard with the microcontroller 8051. Okay. So next class, what we'll do is we'll try to interface the display unit. So after we interface display unit, we have to combine keyboard and display unit to bring an application, total application. Application means what? Once if I press some key on the keyboard, that key has to be placed on the monitor. Just like when we use a laptop or a computer, when you press some key from the keyboard, that will be displayed on the monitor. So that particular thing has to be really ensured over there. Okay. So thank you very much for today's session. Practice this program because this is one of the important program which has been asked several times. So once you practice, you can understand very easily. If you got any doubts, queries, I'll clarify those doubts and queries as far as programming is concerned. Okay. So this programming is very crucial. So row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4 steps are simply being repeated. Okay, so therefore be careful about understanding first of all, while you normally go through the program, when all for all the favorable conditions for a key press. Then go through the program once again, walk through the program once again for a non-favorable conditions at various decision making boxes. So after that, we cross check and everything entirely, then we complete a conclusion about the complete program. So like that, you have to really go through the program at least thrice or 4 times minimum for all the condition checks. Then we normally come up with the complete program. Okay. So like this, you try to understand the program carefully and try to practice this program. Okay. Thank you very much for today's session.